In this video, I will show you how to correctly install the threaded rod, heater, and nozzle into the extruder so that they are mounted rigidly at the correct distance from the extruder body. Here's the instruction sheet that is part of your drawing package. Pay particular attention to this minimum distance of 36 millimeters, which is approximately 1 7/16 inches. It is important that the tip of the nozzle stick out at least this far so that the nozzle can touch the build plate before these linear bearings interfere with the build plate. Another important caution that you should be aware of is how thin of a wall this metal threaded rod has. If you try to tighten this jam nut too tight, you will shear the threaded rod. Therefore, we will be using Loctite 246, which is a medium-strength, high-temperature thread lock, to seal the threads and keep the rod from screwing in or out during operation of the 3D printer. Let me demonstrate the procedure. First, you will need to disassemble the nozzle, heater, and threaded rod. Next, screw in the nozzle into the heater as far as it will go. Then loosen it at least one full turn. Next, orient the threaded rod so that the side showing the Teflon sleeve will thread into the heater. Then place a small drop of thread lock onto the threaded rod near the end that will screw into the heater, and make sure none of the thread lock gets into the inside of the rod. Then screw the threaded rod into the heater until it bottoms out on the nozzle that you screwed in earlier. Next, double check that the other end of the rod that will screw into the body of the extruder does not show the nylon sleeve, and put a drop of thread lock on the threads close to that end, making sure it does not enter the inside of the tube. Then thread it into the body of the extruder until the tip of the nozzle is at the correct distance from the body. Remember, this distance should be at least 1 7/16 inches, or 36 millimeters. Then tighten the jam nut up against the extruder body to keep it from unscrewing, but make sure that you do not over-tighten it, because you will shear the threaded rod if you put too much torque on the jam nut. The final step is to use a wrench to tighten the nozzle, so that the threaded end of the nozzle presses up against the end of the threaded rod to create a seal which will keep the melted printer filament from leaking out. It is important to remember that the thread lock will take 24 hours to fully cure. Once you are finished, please remember to clean up, put the thread lock away, and store your parts.